Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. It's 2 degrees of separation. Until the day that we actually have like a very precise, we've never talked about
It'll never
how
happen.
to do an intro.
It'll never happen.
It'll probably never happen. So
it's just whoever decides to talk first in that first like 5-second silence.
Yeah.
someday I'll make the jump.
I mean, you did it once. You did it.
Episode 2, and I haven't done it since.
The fact that you knew which episode it was.
Yeah, I know, man. I'm counting the days. My days are numbered.
Yeah. Yeah. Welcome to episode 7 of 2 Degrees of Separation. We are your hosts. I'm Eli.
I'm Jacob.
Are you sticking with that one? I mean, you've said it like 3 or 4 weeks in a row. I think
it doesn't matter at this point. Whatever.
All right, Jake.
Whatever anybody wants to call me. Anything.
All right, Jake.
William. Bobby Lee Brown. Millie Billy Benilly. I don't know.
Yes, but welcome to week 7. We are currently not 7. We are 8 days away, right? From Halloween.
Halloween.
There you go. Yeah. So I gotta get my hocus pocus in here soon. Gotta do that for sure.
Speaking of that little jingle, I read today that they are talking about maybe making a prequel to A Nightmare Before Christmas.
I mean, as long as Tim Burton does it, we're fine. I trust him.
They want to do like a story of how Jack became the king of Halloween Town.
Okay. All right. That's interesting because I saw something like 2 weeks ago, maybe a week ago, about this theory, okay, of the little kid from Frankenweenie being Jack.
Ah, man, that'd be crazy if I've ever seen the movie.
Seen Frankenweenie.
Man.
No, so apparently, the kid has a dog, and they make all these connections. In the video I watched, they made these connections of basically how he could possibly be Jack. I can't remember what it was, but it was kind of cool, and I was like, dang. I wish I could come up with cool stuff like that.
Is Frankenweenie a Tim Burton movie? It is, right?
Yep.
I feel like all of his movies are related some way. Like Corpse Bride. The area, I always thought the area that the main character in that movie proposes to the undead girl looks just like the area that Jack runs into the Christmas Town trees and like that whole set of trees.
The doors?
Yeah.
The doors?
The doors,
yeah.
That's right, the doors.
Very accurate. This man just happens to put a ring on a branch, but instead of a branch, it's a finger.
And I mean, it just, that whole area in that movie looks exactly like the area from Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. But I mean, it's Tim Burton, so
Tim Burton,
pretty much
so it's probably just
board.
the same set.
He's
like, man, I'm not gonna.
Keeps all of them.
He probably does. Genius.
Just keeps all the
genius. What do they do for every
sets.
New York street in any sitcom ever? They use the same set.
Do they?
Seinfeld set. That New York set is used. How I Met Your Mother filmed on it.
No.
Yup.
No.
Yup.
Oh, no. I didn't know that.
They all use the same sets.
Thinking about it, all right. The only Tim Burton movie I can think of that isn't like a stop motion movie is God dang it, I was gonna say no. What the heck is it called now? I can picture the case. Sweeney Todd.
Sweeney Todd.
There we go.
The
Sweeney
musical.
Todd. I mean, Edward Scissorhands wasn't Tim Burton, right?
I don't think so, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I could be completely wrong.
Shout
but
out Winona Ryder.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. But yeah, Sweeney Todd's the only live action Tim Burton movie I can think of.
Yeah,
That's it.
I don't know many live action Tim Burton movies. Oh, did
And
he
then we
make
got.
Alice in Wonderland?
Did he?
I'm pretty sure he was the director of Alice in Wonderland.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. He's the only man crazy enough to have oh man, who plays Bellatrix?
Okay, Edward Scissorhands is actually it is. It's
It
Tim
is?
Burton.
Oh,
It's Tim Burton.
Alice in Wonderland's got to be a Tim Burton movie too then.
Dang. Wait, I'm googling things now. You got me. I'm ripping and running.
Am I right?
Dude, Tim
Am I right?
Burton's done a bunch of stuff. What? Yeah,
I
all right,
mean-
never mind. Everything he makes is just he just touches it and it's good.
I mean, I don't know about that. But
And then we there is another movie we talked about already that he directed and like we both talked about it.
What? What?
Beetlegeist.
Oh, Winona Ryder. Shout out Winona Ryder.
Yeah.
Jump in the
Bring
line.
Winona Ryder back.
Okay, I believe you.
Yeah, dude. No, Beetlejuice is great. I needed to watch that.
Daylight come. Dude.
That's what I'm talking about. The scene when they're
Yeah,
at the dinner table. Wild.
Oh, good movie. Good movie.
It is great.
Very
Tim Burton,
abrupt.
everything.
Beginning. Holy moly.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. Dang. Ugh. He's like, yeah. Aside, I mean, obviously, okay, Stephen King is that guy. He is, I mean, everybody considers him the king of horror, you know? At least in the book
Dude,
realm.
that one movie with Johnny Depp, is it The Secret Window, The Hidden Window?
Listen.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I've watched it many times, and I love it every time.
My boss hadn't I still don't think he's seen it. And when I told him that there was a movie that a lot of people don't even know Secret Window actually is a Stephen King book.
Yeah.
Because the book is called Secret Window, Secret Garden.
Okay.
And that, like, that phrase right there, if you've seen the movie, just makes all the sense in the world.
Does. For sure.
And it is that
such a good
that
movie.
is probably it's probably my favorite. I haven't read the book. All right, so
I haven't either.
I might suck, but it is my favorite adaptation of Stephen King stuff. I mean, like it is the best Stephen King movie I have seen.
It's Johnny Depp.
It's
Johnny
so
Depp.
good.
It's young Johnny Depp, dude.
Ooh, young Johnny Depp. When everybody
actually not
was
even
just
young. It was like Johnny Depp at his peak, though.
like mid-30s.
Yeah, that was like
Everybody
around the secret. Was it Secret of Black Pearl? Whatever it was.
What did you just say,
dude? What is the name of the first Pirates movie?
Curse of the
Black Pearl. Hey,
The Secret of the Black Pearl.
Hey.
Yeah, that was when that was Johnny Depp prime for sure.
Yeah,
that was that era, like the early well, it was like the mid 2000s, early mid 2000s. Yeah. No, that Secret Window, if you haven't seen that, there we go. We can toss that in as a horror movie for the month because it's so good.
It's a thriller.
It's a thriller. It's not horror. It's psychological, but it's so good.
It's good.
I've seen it a million times. Just a million.
Maybe it'll get people into book reading.
But what I was saying about Stephen King is he is in the book world, the king of horror.
Mm-hmm.
The man has a million horror books, and
Millions.
I haven't read all of them, obviously, but I have 20. Like I have a ton of Stephen King what's the other pen name he had? He went under Richard Bachman.
I didn't even know that.
And I think I either have one or two of the Richard Bachman books, and I haven't read all of them, but the one that sticks out with me because I know I've read it and I've watched every single movie they've made of it is Carrie. Okay, the book was wild. Seeing the original 1960s, 70s, what's the original movie?
Mm-hmm.
I think that one is the closest one to the book, which is wild.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
And then
I don't think I've seen it once.
It's interesting.
I
because
know
it's an old movie.
I know a lot of the classics, like the classic scene from it, but
yeah,
that's it.
Yeah,
that's the only thing I know about it.
And then I can't remember when the other one was made, but they had the newest one with
Chloe Moretz.
Yep. Yeah. So there was one in between her movie and the original movie. I've seen all three of them. The original one, I think, is by far the closest adaptation. I've also read Salem's Lot, which is a fantastic book. It's really, really good.
We got book recommendations, man.
Listen, I'm killing it today. No,
Salem's
Lot. I don't read.
I don't.
Salem's Lot is really cool. That's if you're into vampires, Salem's Lot. That's read Salem's Lot. We watched the TV show. There was actually a mini series for Salem's Lot. That one was still cool, but I still think the original one that was made back in the 70s was still better than the TV show.
I mean,
and I think there's something floating around that they're doing it again.
Of course, man. Money is money. Money is money.
Yeah. So I mean, with the new Stephen King movies coming out, we'll see what happens. But the original reason why I got on this topic, all right, Stephen King, King of Horror, books, okay? Then we got, on the other hand, Tim Burton, all right?
Tell me he is... Just to get back to this whole...
I've went off the rails a bit, but Tim Burton, tell me, everything he has made isn't good.
I don't think I've seen everything, so I can't say everything he's made is good, but most of what I've seen has been enjoyable.
Everything I've seen has been, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He says, yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I would, just everything.
Everything about him. I love him.
Maybe he's not the king of horror on the movie side of things, but he definitely is up there for sure, because everybody knows who Tim Burton is.
He's very well known for creating worlds that you can, jump into.
Dude, all right, I need to just go over. Look, he did the Batman with Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson.
I know, yeah,
right?
yeah.
He did Charlie in the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah,
with Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp and Tim Burton, man.
Oh, yes.
Dynamic duo. You ever seen their interviews?
No, actually,
they're hilarious.
I don't think no. Really?
Yeah.
I just didn't know. Okay, he did Pee-wee's Big Adventure too. All right, I'm done looking at this. I'm closing that. There we go. Phone's down. All right. I take back what I said about Tim Burton.
All right.
He directed Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Whatever, man. What are you talking about? Don't trash on Pee-wee.
Everybody knows Pee-wee. No, Pee-wee was cool.
Dude.
This is crack cocaine.
Rest in peace, Pee-wee.
Rest in peace, Pee-wee. Yeah. Guy was great. But that was a very
long. That was a 15-minute intro about Tim Burton.
Just Tim. Oh, and Stephen King.
And Stephen King.
Solid. I'll take it. It was nice. And it wasn't what we were even planning on talking about. So
Not even in the slightest.
Yeah. But today,
Week 7.
Week 7. We're getting places. We're almost 2 months deep. That's actually pretty crazy. And it's cool that we're gonna be hitting the 2-month mark on Hallows Eve. You know, on All Hallows Eve. That's cool. I'm excited about that. But I asked Jacob about this before we started today. I asked him if he saw the eclipse that happened. And so we kind of talked about that. And I got an interesting story about that. So when I was at work today, I was painting a handrail, okay?
Oh, fun.
And I'm outside and I'm sitting here, doing my thing at the handrail, and I finally like take a moment to like step back, and I'm just looking around, and I'm really confused. I'm just looking around, and I'm like, are my eyes deceiving me? Why does everything look odd?
Donut shadows.
Like, everything looked odd, okay? And I'm trying to figure out, like, I asked my coworker, I was like, yo, does the lighting outside seem weird to you?
Who put LSD in
like,
my Gatorade?
Yeah. And he was like, no, everything, it's normal. I was like, all right, maybe I'm just nuts. And we're sitting there doing that. Customer pulls up. I walked inside the store. And as I was walking back to the warehouse, I looked outside again, and I'm like, something is going on outside. Like, I said that out loud. I said that out loud. I was like, something is happening outside.
Something's happening.
It looks crazy. Okay. And the customer even says, he's like, man, I thought I was the only one. I thought I was losing it. And I was like, all right, so something's happening. I walked outside and I look up at the sun, but obviously I can't stare at the sun, So I put my hand up where the sun's at. Oh, yeah, sorry. I put my hand up where the sun's at, and I'm like, there's no clouds covering the sun. What's going on? What is this? Come to find out, I just didn't know that there was an eclipse today.
Yeah, not many people. Well, I mean, a lot of people did, but there were a lot of people who didn't this time around.
It explained everything. Just everything.
Did you see, the shadows from the eclipse?
No.
It made everything look like water ripples.
Because everything outside looked wonky.
Yeah. Well, yeah, this happened. Oh, man. 2017, I think, was the last time I saw an eclipse. And it was like sunny out. Because it's been cloudy here all day. So I couldn't see what happened. But the last time I saw an eclipse, everything was like, it looked like the color correction from Breaking Bad.
Yeah, see, that's a good way of putting it.
It was just like brown haze.
Yeah, pretty much. That's exactly what it looked like.
Yeah, I know.
And I mean, the last eclipse I saw, during the day was at my last job, and I worked in a manufacturing plants for car parts. Of course,
God bless America.
God bless America. That's the most Michigan thing I could ever say. But we had like, there was a bunch of welders' masks in the building, so we took the screen from the welders' masks, and you could hold it up to the sky, which is the craziest thing in the world. Okay, you could hold it up and just stare at the sun, and you could see it.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Never in my life.
Oh man, when I drive to work in the summer, I drive like towards the sunrise, and when the Canadian, whatever happened to Canadian wildfires, when those Canadian wildfires were going on, I could see the sun, just a big red ball on the horizon, like it was ginormous, because it was just being blocked by all the smoke.
That's wild. That's actually crazy.
Whatever happened to Canadian wildfires?
I don't know, but
Russia
now
and Ukraine started fighting, and then you just didn't hear about that anymore.
It's all downhill from here. No, I actually, I don't know if you saw this on your phone, Jacob. So like, all right, you have your phone on you?
Yeah.
We both have Pixel phones. You have the 6, right?
I have the 7, man.
Oh, we both have the 7?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so we both have the Pixel 7, and if all right, you have your phone up, go to your just like your home screen,
Mm-hmm.
and if you swipe to the right, so you're like going to your screen on the left,
Yeah.
you have the Google News, right?
Yeah, man.
You see where it says the air quality index?
It used to. It doesn't anymore.
Mine still has it, and there's nothing happening here in Louisiana.
Yeah.
Am I dying and I just don't know?
Probably.
Nice. I'm sitting at a nice solid 27, whatever that means.
27. The air quality index used to be, when it's high, that means I believe it's really bad.
That's fine.
I think.
It's okay.
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure when it's a high number, it means there's a lot of pollutants in the air. I think it's like, 187 parts per whatever.
The dot is green, so I think we're in the clear because usually when the number's higher, it'll turn like yellow, orange, and red.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. See, we're
all
on
the colors of the rainbow.
Yeah, pretty much. But I just thought that was very interesting since you mentioned the wildfires, because I had never seen this before. I just noticed it like a couple days ago.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, am I dying? Is there something happening that I should know about? Like,
we're all dying.
I mean, here in Louisiana, we're having to deal with the saltwater intrusion, so it's okay.
I mean,
it's fine.
What the heck is a saltwater intrusion?
Basically, very, very within the past like week, okay, they were the government here in Louisiana. I don't know the logistics of it. Basically, salt water was pushing way into New Orleans. Which is really bad because that gets into your regular drinking water.
Your ecosystem will be just fine, dude.
Like, so you're talking freshwater fish are going to be swimming in salt water. That is a no-go. You got all this salt water running through your plumbing in your house. That's a huge no-go. You can't drink the water because salt water.
Dude,
but
have you ever seen the way the oceans meet? Like the videos online, the Atlantic and Pacific? Apparently there's like some rift between the two, and they just look completely different where they meet, and it's like a straight line.
It's the Matrix. It's fine.
We're
sewn at the seams.
I mean, it ain't no saltwater intrusion. That sounds bad.
Yeah. Oh, the saltwater intrusion?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's pretty bad. Yeah, they were basically at one point, which I think they kind of are getting things situated, so it's not, at least where we're at, it's not an issue yet, but at one point they basically were like, yeah, you could be without drinking water for like 2 to 3 months.
Wow.
What? Yeah, so it was a big deal, but I'm chilling. It's all good.
Got a Brita filter, I'm fine.
That's not how it works, but they're actually getting sued.
Yeah.
So
pure.
It's fun.
Not a sponsor.
But we were talking about the eclipse, okay?
Yeah, and how it looks like Elden Ring's cover.
I was gonna say before the podcast, we talked about the eclipse and how Jacob sent me a picture of it because I didn't see what it
looked
called
like. The Ring of Fire.
And I've seen an eclipse before. It's cool, obviously, but he sent me this one and I was like, oh yeah, dang, that looks wild. And he brought up the fact that it looked like the logo for Elden Ring, which is a great segue. To what, Jacob? To what?
Scary games. More scary games. We're talking about them all. We're talking about them all.
And this time, the list we have... All right, so we had fantastic games on the last list. This list, not only do we have more fantastic games, we have like some good conversation about some of these, All right?
Yeah.
So I'm really excited about this because there were some games that Jacob mentioned and I was just like, how
They're
did
classics.
we miss?
How did we miss this? Actually.
Yeah.
Like straight up.
Yeah.
A lot of these were shoot before I was like 16.
What's really bad is Jacob's just like, I was like, you want to talk about some more scary games? He goes, I can't think of any scary games. And then he adds just a ton to the list. I'm like, dude, what do you what do you mean?
Dude, I just had to,
There's a ton.
tap into it.
Yeah. You gotta tap into the jack-o'-lantern spirit, dude. Come on.
Dude.
Halloweeny.
Halloweeny, yeah. Man.
Halloweeny. Yeah, so because I mean, you added a bunch of good games to this list, so I definitely want to hear the first one for you.
Well, we can piggyback off the Elden Ring thing. This isn't really like a Halloween game, but it is a really weird universe. Also, isn't it based on books? I don't know. It's the Souls series and Bloodborne.
Definitely not based on books. Definitely not.
No, but who?
George R.R. Martin.
Yeah.
The writer.
Yeah.
The writer of the Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Worked on the story for
Elden Ring.
Which
was
From Software
great.
game.
That was
Fantastic.
the first Souls series that I was like actually interested in the story. So
it's great. Everything about the Soulsborne series is just great.
But to be more specific about a scary game, Bloodborne for sure. It's very gothic, very weird. You're in this aren't there like walking werewolf dudes and stuff?
I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I've played the game once, and it was at your place.
Dude, well,
I'm so upset about it because I've played every other not every other From Software game, but all of the other Souls games, and absolutely loved them. Wanted so bad to play Bloodborne, but was not gonna justify buying a PlayStation 4.
Oh yeah, no, I don't blame you.
To play Bloodborne.
I've only played through Bloodborne once too, and from what I remember, it was tons of fun. My friend, my buddy Kevin, he loved it, and he was big into it when he played it.
I mean, everybody I know that played the game was just infatuated with it.
Yeah, it's literally just a gothic version of Dark Souls. Like, it's so very, very cool, and it fits well into like the Sleepy Hollow aspect of. And just like
that industrial,
the
industrial era of England or the UK
steampunk. It's
area.
very steampunk, but like gothic steampunk. It's
great.
Cool. It's really cool. Yeah. The whole atmosphere. Sick. They've got these crazy cool like castle like buildings all throughout the game. Tons of fun. Worth checking.
I gotta find a way to play that game. Man, you're like talking about it. I'm like, I gotta find a way to play it. I have to.
But it's one of those games where it's like you really have to be dedicated because there's no save points other than like very spread out points throughout the game. Very spread out.
Beam me up. I like a challenge.
And it's, oh man, there's a lot going on too. There is.
Of course.
And those games always have just like multiple ways to go about things.
It's exciting.
Great.
Yep.
Great.
I'm going to find a way to play it. I'm telling you.
Great. I've put enough time into Elden Ring to say it's a great game.
There you go. Yep.
What you got? What you got?
Listen, so I didn't want to pop off with this one, all right?
I ain't trying to pop off.
There's no way. Since you mentioned this one, I can't tap dance around this one. I have to talk about it. All right. Especially on the entire conversation we had at the beginning of the podcast about Stephen King being the king of horror.
Here we go.
Alan Wake. How we didn't talk about this game when Alan Wake 2 is coming out in like a week is beyond me. Alan Wake. All right. I'm gonna set the stage for you. All right. Alan Wake.
2011.
He is a writer. Okay. And he writes, I mean, I wouldn't say specifically horror, but it is psychological horror novels that the character Alan Wake writes. He's a writer, and he's taking a break from writing the book,
Mm-hmm.
and him and his wife go to a small town, and they're spending their time at a cabin in said small town, and he ends up getting sucked into a book that he is writing at the same time.
He's in a paradigm.
He is literally in a paradigm or a paradox.
I mean, whatever you want to call it. A pair of dimes, if you ask me.
There you go. But this game, you fight enemies that are like, they're shadow people, all right? And you are equipped with a flashlight, and you get a couple different guns, but these shadow creatures you can't just go pop 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 to get rid of them, all right?
Why not?
You have to shine the flashlight at them to like break the shadow free from the enemies.
Like you're cracking a shield, Warzone style.
Yeah,
Chink.
pretty much. And the setting for the game is so good. It's like, the best way I could put it is, you've probably never seen Twin Peaks, Jacob, but it is that very northwest.
That's what I was gonna say. Northwest. It's just it's like you're looking for Sasquatch in a game.
Yeah, pretty much. And the setting is so good.
It is.
You're
really
going
cool.
through the game, and you are reading the manuscript of what is. There's some parts of you're reading what just happened, or you're reading what's going to happen. It's so good.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting foreshadowing all throughout that game.
The whole thing.
But it's played like a book. It's played like a book.
Literally. Yeah.
In a good way. In a good way.
Yeah. In a good way. All right. Yeah. I got to specify. But the first game was absolutely fantastic. I remember playing it for the first time, and it is such a good, scary game. And it's not a bloody game. It's not a gory game. It's strictly, it's scary.
Yeah.
It's
a thriller.
It's scary.
It's a thriller.
Yeah,
it's literally just
really
a thriller.
Is. It's so good.
It keeps you on your toes a lot.
Yeah. And then they came out with a second game, which was Alan Wake. I think it was called American Nightmare.
Yeah.
And the idea was cool, but it was executed very poorly. Just think of you're playing the movie Groundhog Day. All right.
Ah.
and that's the best way I can put it. You're playing Groundhog Day. You wake up, you're given an objective, you go to said objective, something happens, and you wake up the next day and you start it from the beginning, but you progress a little bit further each day. So you have to go through everything again, every single day.
Eek.
From the very beginning.
Nah.
Pass.
I don't think I could do that.
It was not good.
That's like that game Bethesda made. Or was it Arcane Studios? It just came out a couple years ago. Oh, shoot. You kept playing like, yeah, you're like time traveling or something.
The shooter?
Yeah. Was it called like Looper or something?
No.
Or man, I can't remember. It came out just a couple years ago.
It's Arcane because it was the Dishonored. No, it wasn't. It was Bethesda.
Yeah, man. I think Arcane helped though. I do.
At the end of the day, I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember what
I can't remember the name of it to save my life, but it was like you just kept replaying things.
The same thing.
Yeah, and it's fun once.
Oh, American Nightmare wasn't even fun once.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Setting the stage for the second Alan Wake game.
No, listen. They're like, so this was 2 to 3 years back now. So the first Alan Wake game came out 10 plus years ago.
I think
it's been
it was
a long
like
time.
2009 or 10.
Yeah, so it's been a long time. American Nightmare came out. Nobody cared. But the first game came out, a decade ago. Not a drip. There was not a blip in the water that they were gonna make another Alan Wake game until there was this like
I had
teeny
a feeling it was
tiny,
gonna happen. I won't lie.
teeny tiny little Easter egg in the game. What is it? It's Control, right?
Yeah.
Is the Remedy game?
Yeah.
And there is a little blurb in that game about Alan Wake, the person, because Control is set in the same universe. And
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah, that was like the first talk of Alan Wake since the first game had came out. That was the first, and Control came out like 2 years ago. And so people started talking about Alan Wake again. And then
As they should.
And then out of nowhere, they were just like, "Oh yeah, guess what?" I think it was like the Game Awards.
Oh,
I think, and they were doing a release trailer, and dude, when they showed Alan Wake 2, it popped off.
that was like an original for like Xbox back in the day, though.
What
Wasn't
was
it? Alan Wake?
Wake? Yeah, it didn't come
That
out
was-
on the PlayStation.
And it had a very cult fan base, from what I remember.
Yeah, I wouldn't say the game was like huge by any means, but
No.
it was so good, and I am so excited. Like I said, we're like a week out, and I'm not even gonna be here to play it. I'm so excited for Alan Wake 2. If you haven't seen the first game, go check it out. Go pick it up. Go play it.
I don't
if
even
you're
know
a
what you
nerd.
can play it on anymore.
I don't know because it actually
I do know somebody who just played it recently.
It's on Steam.
Yeah, but it's also on newer consoles as well.
Because the remaster, right before the remaster happened, for the longest time it wasn't available because of a licensing issue with the music in the game.
Of course.
So you couldn't buy it anywhere. But go check out Alan Wake. It's so good. Go check out the trailer for Alan Wake 2. It is such a monumental step from what American Nightmare was. Alan Wake 2, they have gameplay footage of it, and it just I'm so excited for that game. I am a nerd. I'm so excited for that. I gotta stop talking about it. Give me another game. Go.
This is one I added when we were talking. Very, very classic, very, very Halloween-y, very kid-friendly Luigi's Mansion.
It's so good.
Love it.
Mario.
Hello.
It is, yeah, even for it being just an absolutely kid-friendly game.
Mario.
It was so good. It was so good.
Man, that was a very, very fun game to play as a kid. Shout out the GameCube. I remember getting it on Christmas. Shout out the GameCube.
Yeah, dude. And did we get, it was Luigi's Mansion and the Wind Waker with it?
I think so, yep.
Bangers.
Bangers.
Luigi's Mansion's so good. I do believe, so Luigi's Mansion 3 came out over the past year, I think, or 2. And the Luigi's Mansion 2 only came out on the DS, but I do believe it's either now released on the Switch or it is coming to the Switch.
I don't know. I've only played I don't know if it was the most recent Luigi's Mansion. One of my friends gave me Luigi's Mansion on the Switch. And I was tight.
Switch?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
They just gave it to you?
Yeah.
He says, yeah, you know how much Switch games cost?
Yeah, but I'm gonna give it back when I'm done.
Oh, okay. He's like, I'm gonna give it back. I just want to play it.
I haven't beaten it yet.
Luigi's Mansion is fantastic. That is, yeah, especially if you're a person that has kids. Hey, if you're trying to get a kid into playing games,
That's a fun one. The controls are a little hard to get around, though. I won't lie, dude.
Yeah, for a kid, it's probably rough.
I feel dumb playing that game.
Yeah, you're waving the vacuum
dude. I'm
everywhere.
Desperately trying to do stuff in that game when I play it. I have to play claw half the time. Like,
oh yeah, 100%.
MLG mode.
I remember very vividly the one ghost in the first game that just actually was very odd was the baby.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah. I remember like the whole set of circumstances in the room where like the rocking horse was moving.
Yeah, dude.
And you had the baby in the crib crying.
I was like 4 years old when I played that game. I'm not even kidding.
It was great. That one, yeah, no, Luigi's Mansion, really, really good. Yeah, no, that, oh, yes.
And the soundtrack?
So banger.
Dun, 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 dun.
Banger. All right, you got to stop there.
Yep.
Nintendo's coming for us.
That's all I needed to get out of me anyways.
That's true. That's valid. Yeah. No, Luigi's Mansion is definitely, that was solid. Another, because we're talking about mansions, there was, and you put GameCube on this one, but I do believe I remember it on the PlayStation. I think
I was 4.
But there actually is a Haunted Mansion video game that came out, on older consoles. It was the GameCube and the PlayStation 2. I don't think it came out on the Xbox.
Came out in 2003.
Yeah, and there were, up until the past couple of years, there wasn't a lot I remembered about the game, but there were like certain things I did remember. And one thing,
I have flashbacks both of us every once in a while.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
One thing both of us happened to remember, because this is like a 1 in a million for us, it was like the one video game both of us remember our mom playing. Yeah. And she was not a gamer, but she played that game, okay?
Yeah, man. Oh, man. Yeah. I remember going to the bedroom and just watching like a weird spectator.
Yeah.
Staying there with my beer gut, dude.
There you go.
What's going on?
Yeah. What's going on? The Haunted Mansion game was, really cool. It's still another it's a kid-friendly game for sure, and as far as I know, there is really no way to play the game aside from managing to get yourself a copy on the PlayStation 2.
A legit copy.
Very legit copy.
Only legit copies here.
Only legit copies here.
I would never.
On the PlayStation 2. We would never endorse finding another way to play a game that wasn't meant to be played on original. I mean, that was not supposed to be. Was not supposed to be played on original.
We're chilling.
Hardware.
You know
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You get it?
Ha, man, I know what you're saying.
He gets it.
I get it.
You get it. All right. you get it. I think the next game I want to talk about, because I haven't finished the game. I actually just started playing it in the past couple of years. I've talked about this before. I have a PlayStation 2 that's very alive and functioning, and I have a ton of PlayStation 2 games. I have just a catalog of them. Both Jacob and I do. And
too many. We have too many games.
I love the PlayStation 2, but there was one game back when I used to live stream on Twitch. There was one game that I held off from playing because I wanted to play it on stream, and to this day, I barely touched it because I always toyed with the idea of going back to streaming and wanting to play that. It is a game called Siren that came out on the PlayStation 2, and they did not remake the game, they remastered the game on newer consoles. I think it came out on the PlayStation 3, and the game's horrifying.
I've heard of it.
It's set in Japan, all right, and so video games today, obviously are very animated. Like people's faces look really good, and their mouths,
We're aiming for realism, man.
We're aiming for realism. And back on the PlayStation 2, how the crap did you do that? Okay. It didn't. PlayStation 2 games did not look that good.
Polygons.
I mean, for the time period, don't get me wrong. Of course, it was fantastic. But what did this company
you saw
do?
Those Final Fantasy trailers.
Ain't nobody care about what the heck are they called? MV4s, whatever the crap. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're
animated. Saying. You know what I'm saying?
But
animated.
I got bamboozled every time. I'd be like, this game looks cool.
Yeah, of course. But so what did this company do? They went back to the Nintendo 64 era to do the facial animations for these characters.
No.
So they had a relatively higher polygon count for these people's faces, and they video captured these people's faces.
What is this, GoldenEye?
And they put it on the characters' faces. So it looks bananas. It looks crazy.
I got to see this.
They managed to do like, all right, so, you know, like, let's just say you're playing a scary game and somebody's like, their face starts to deteriorate and you got blood coming from the eyes, you know?
Yeah.
They were able to actually do a real life visual effect and put that on the character's face in the game.
Oh, that's so crazy.
It looked real. It was so out the box. I've never seen another game that did that up until obviously you have like the Until Dawn, the Dark Pictures anthology.
Quick
kinda,
action simulator.
Well, no, but they did full facial motion capture for those games, and that's like the closest thing I could compare it to. So, Siren is set in like a crazy, area in Japan, and it's multiple different people you play as throughout the game. They have different stories, and it like
Japanese horror games are the best horror games.
They just are, and
they know
the
horror.
enemies are called Shibitos, I do believe is what they're called. And you're able to, as one of the characters at least, you're able to tap into, all right? You're able to tap into the eyes of said enemies. And like, let's say you're in an area where there's 5 enemies around. Yeah. And you could tap into each one individually to see where they're walking, what they see, if they spotted you. Like, it's horrifying.
Man.
That
sounds cool, though. Why don't games do that anymore?
I don't know. They should make a sequel to Siren.
Nobody cares about making good detail in games. They don't care about it.
Throw it in the dumpster.
They don't care about depth.
Yeah. No, not at all. But yeah, so Siren, I can't really tell you a whole lot more about the game because it's just like stuff that I happen to know about the game because I haven't finished it and I've barely really played it. But from what I know of the game and what I've played, it is bananas. It actually, for being a PlayStation 2 game, it's crazy. Absolutely bananas. You got another one?
For the sake of time, we should probably want to give them a couple more, but this one's important. Dead Rising.
Important.
Very. This is like
important.
The hero of zombie games in the early 2010s.
Aside from Left 4 Dead, basically.
Yeah, I guess more so third-person zombie games.
Oh, for sure.
Oh man, Dead Rising was it. Trapped in a mall with a bunch of zombies, and you could just do whatever. Literally, it was like a kid. You were a kid in a mall, and you could do whatever you wanted. You could do whatever. It
was an arcade game with just zombies.
Build whatever weapons, dude. Oh man,
yes.
The weapon building in that game was so fun.
And then you got Dead Rising 2, which built upon the whole
Yeah,
weapon
Dead Rising 2 I
combination
think was
thing.
my favorite.
Oh, for sure. Dead
I
Rising
think that
3 was still cool. I never played Dead Rising 4. We
Me
have
neither.
it, but never played it. But the Dead Rising series is very, because it was pretty monumental for video games.
Yeah, it was an iconic series. It was.
Because
The amount of
like
zombies, NPCs in that game.
that's what I was gonna say.
Oh.
Is that the amount of things happening on the screen all at once? Because you'll have an absolute just unit load of zombies on screen in one frame, and these zombies could be tripping over stuff, falling into water, like falling off of out of windows and stuff. Like, there was so much happening. And it was so much fun to just like everything you saw you could use as a weapon.
Yeah.
Everything.
So, I just remember like the baseball and the bat, dude.
Yep.
Just from long distance, just tossing one up, pink, tossing another, pink.
Using guns in the game was actually really boring.
Yeah, it was. It totally
Using guns
was
boring.
The katana, dude.
Just hack and slash, dude. Slice and dice. You know what I'm saying?
The double-edged chainsaw, dude.
Oh yes, indeed.
Man.
There was so many good weapons in that just the series as a whole. And then Dead Rising, I mean, it was Dead Rising 2 brought in vehicular combat.
Yeah,
so there was stuff you could do there. That was a lot of fun.
Man, that was so fun. And it was perfect for the time period on the 360. Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It was so arcadey, and it was just
best console.
It was PlayStation 2, but
I don't know about that one, brother.
I love me some PS2. But we still have a lot more games on this list, but like Jacob said, for the sake of time, there's at least one more game.
Not everybody's a gamer.
And not everybody's a gamer. There's one more game that I wanted to mention. And this one was like a tough pick for me, because we have some really good games on this list, and I definitely want to talk about them at some point, whether it be like an extra or something. But Fatal Frame.
Oh yeah, that one's got to be mentioned. That was a big one for you.
If we're going back to Jacob, he hit the nail on the head when he said that Japanese horror games, I mean, they know how to build horror so well. Just that's where the downfall of the Silent Hill series was, when Konami gave it to Western studios. That's literally when it
lost
ended
its abstractness and horror.
Yeah. And Fatal Frame, the premise is actually really, so there's a bunch of Fatal Frame games now, but
yeah,
the one that was like really big for me was Fatal Frame 2, called Crimson Butterfly. And each of the games, they all have kind of the same mechanics, whereas I'm gonna just use Fatal Frame 2 as an example because it is my favorite one.
Mm-hmm.
You're in a small, of course, Japanese town. It is completely abandoned, and you're going through said town. You're going into different buildings, and you'll be like, you have a camera. You get this camera called the Camera Obscura, and and it is able to take pictures. You're able to see entities through the camera that you couldn't see with your eyes. So the idea is you are able to defend yourself against said ghosties with the camera.
But like taking their picture and whatnot?
You take the picture of them. So you get different types of film that do more damage. The closer they get to you, the more damage it does.
I know.
So-
I remember this now. Yeah. Wow, it has been so long since I've heard about this game.
There's one
Man.
very vivid memory for me was there was a spot our cousins and I we were playing, and there was just this little like tucked off room. When I say room, it was big enough for a person to stand in, and there was a cloth right behind you, and like instead of there being a wall in front of you, it was like a half wall in an open window to
I remember
outside.
this. I remember this.
All right. And my cousin was playing, we were watching him, and he like pulls up the camera and he's trying to look out the window, and all of a sudden this little kid he pops out like from underneath and screams in the camera. I pooped myself. Not
Terrifying,
literally, but
dude.
It was horrifying. Absolutely, like that
Nightmare
it
City.
it is ingrained in my memory forever. Easy, without a doubt. Absolutely. Fatal Frame, the series is great. They did just release a new one on the Switch.
They just don't hit the same anymore.
I can't say that I recommend it just because I haven't played it and I don't know enough about it. I think it's called like The Maiden of Blackwater or something like that. I'm gonna say check it out, cool. But
I mean, yeah,
if you
check it
do, let me know. Yeah. There was another topic that I wanted to talk about, which I think it's gonna be a lot longer to talk about than what I expected, because I did a fair amount of research, and I think I'm gonna wait.
You're gonna wait
until I'm going to wait until next week to talk about this, because let me tell you, I'm giving you some anticipation for next week. I did a lot of research on this stuff.
give us a little hint. Give us a little hint. What is it?
I mean, I'm just gonna be open about it. I got a list of the most haunted places in the world.
Man.
I have some stuff from friends they've told me about. I have stuff that I did my own research, and then there's stuff here in Louisiana. There's multiple places here in Louisiana that are haunted. So that it'll be a super big time consumer, and I'm not trying to stretch the podcast out really long, but there is something else that I wanted to talk about aside from video games, because like Jacob said, not everybody's a nerd. So I do want to leave you with something else. We are. Yeah, we're nerds. So I wanted to leave you with something I stumbled upon very recently that I didn't even know was a thing. It's called the science of scare. Okay.
Science of scare, huh?
Yeah. So I don't know who actually did it. I'd have to figure out which group of individuals it was. Mm-hmm. But there were some scientists that did a lab. They did a lab study with people, and they sat people down to watch horror movies. They had a panel of 50 people with over 120 hours of scary movies.
Consistently?
And,
like they just watched it all the way through, 120?
I mean, there's no way.
there's Do it or die. Way. Do it or die. You want horror.
So this lab
was the plot of Saw 11?
Exactly. No, they for the people watching the movies, they put heart rate monitors on them.
Oh yeah.
To determine the scariest movies ever made. I thought that was really cool. All right, I didn't know this was a thing that actually happened.
You got a list of the movies you did?
I do. I have the list. And so, to anybody that doesn't know, there's a website called Bloody Disgusting. I know it as a website. They might have different outlets, but I've known about Bloody Disgusting for a long time now, 10 years or so.
Bloody Disgusting.
And they talk about everything horror. So if you want any extra scares, go over to Bloody Disgusting. They review movies, they review games, they review just anything scary whatsoever. It's on bloody disgusting. And they are the ones that put out the science of scare. So they took the people, they made them watch the movies, and they broke it down. They broke it down by so obviously the different movies, but the resting heart rate and the highest spike in heart rate. Okay, so you know what they put as number one, which I do believe I've seen, but I can't remember like any of it.
What was it?
Should I start with number one?
No, let's do like 5. Let's do like the top 5. What are the top 5?
Okay. So top 5. Number 5 starting with Paranormal Activity.
Ah.
The average heart rate. The average heart rate while sitting there watching Paranormal Activity it sat at an 82 BPM, and it spiked up to about 109 was the average during the scares. Number 4 was I've never seen this movie. It was called Hereditary.
Oh, I've not seen it, but I've seen the trailer.
And that... Oh, no. All right, I got that mixed up. Paranormal Activity was 82 to... The highest spike was 127.
Oh.
All right, so it was a bit more than 109.
Someone got jump scared.
Okay. Yeah. Then they had Hereditary, which was 83 BPM to... That one spiked to 109. Number 3 on the list is a movie we already talked about. The Conjuring.
Oh, man.
Which was 84 was the average, and it spiked at 129 was the average.
129, huh?
And then piggybacking off of that one, number 2 on the list.
Gotta be Insidious, huh?
Is another movie we talked about.
Is it Insidious?
It's Insidious.
Yeah, okay.
And that one, it was still really close to The Conjuring. The average heart rate was 85, and the highest spike was 133.
Hey, they getting up there.
Yeah, so the biggest one. So you're hearing me say the differences in heart rate, okay? And some of them, you might be thinking, the spike wasn't that high. The difference between Paranormal Activity and Hereditary. The spike for Paranormal Activity was 127. But the spike for Hereditary was 109.
Mm-hmm.
The way they're calculating which movies are scarier is based off the difference in the average, just regular resting heart rate to the highest spike.
Right.
That's where they're getting it. So the number 1 movie on this list is Sinister.
Really?
It's Sinister. The average BPM while watching the movie was 86.
Isn't Matthew Lillard in Sinister?
I don't know.
Dang
I can't remember. I'm being honest. And it spiked at 131, so the difference is 32. And now I need to go back and watch Sinister.
Oh, it's because not Matthew Lillard. It's Ethan Hawke.
That's who it is. Yeah, okay.
Good old Ethan Hawke.
But I'm going to have to go rewatch it because according to science, based off of this lab study, it is the scariest movie backed by science.
It's like tried and true.
Yeah. And so if we run it back from number 5, I'm going to go down the list, which a lot of this has movies we've mentioned, obviously. Number 6 is It Follows. Number 7 is The Conjuring 2. Number 8 is The Babadook. Number 9, The Descent. Number 10, The Visit. We have The Ring, A Quiet Place, Nightmare on Elm Street,
I didn't
Halloween.
think A Quiet Place was all that scary.
How not? What?
I didn't think it was scary at all. I think I laughed more throughout that movie than anything.
It was just a lot. It built a lot of tension.
Nah, it was just easy to make jokes during.
Because there was no talking.
Gotta fill that silence, I guess, dude. I don't know. It's just, how could they make
Yeah.
another movie like that?
Yeah, I don't know. They did it.
That's
But
like asking how they can reboot The Office.
But I love The Office.
Another time.
But there's a ton of movies that we've already talked about that are on this list, and there's a bunch of movies we haven't talked about. So,
go check out the full list.
I was gonna say, go check out the full list. I'm gonna put it out on our social media. It'll probably be the easiest place. It's gonna be on X. So if you'd like to see the full list, it's gonna be over there. We're at 2DOF separation. So I'm gonna put it up on there. I'll pin it as the post. That way you won't miss it. It's actually really cool. It's something just to look at that I didn't even know existed. That somebody just took their time to be like, let's find out what's really the scariest movie,
Yeah.
and they did an actual study to find this out.
So that's one of those things you'll be sitting around watching a scary movie and be like, I wonder if somebody's ever figured out what the scariest movie is.
Yeah.
I would not have expected Sinister, though. That is
Sinister.
I completely forgot about that movie.
Gotta watch it.
There's like 2 or 3 of them, too.
Are there really?
Yeah.
Oh, see, there you go. Guess what? There's some extras for the list, baby.
Heck yeah. Go watch Sinister if you want to get spooked. It is an interesting premise. It's like murders on different families and whatnot.
And of course, who is it from, Jacob? Who is the movie from?
Stephen King.
Blumhouse.
Oh, man, of course. Yeah, that's right.
I don't even know why you went with anybody else.
Well, because we were talking about them earlier, so I was like in that groove.
He goes, it's either got to be Stephen King or Tim Burton, man.
Yeah. Well, no, I would not expect Tim Burton. That would be the last one. The movie wasn't weird enough.
Yeah. So, Sinister, go check it out.
It's a good lead.
If you watch it, I'm definitely that is absolutely going to be on the poll for this week. Do you think Sinister is the scariest horror movie? Like, I need to know that one. I need to know because I feel like a lot of people are going to be like, "What?" I feel like that's going to be the reaction. But
I feel like most people have forgotten about Sinister.
I definitely did.
Like, I don't know. I've never heard anyone say, "Man, you know what's really scary?" Sinister.
But then what is really like curious about the whole thing is the fact that we talked about Insidious and The Conjuring together going head to head, those two movies.
They drowned out Sinister.
They happen to be number 2 and 3.
Yeah, I mean, they're Hey,
yeah.
The guy who plays the main character in both, he carries both movies.
Oh, for sure.
Can never remember his name, but shout out to him.
Shout out to him. Yeah, this whole episode. I was gonna say the whole episode where we were talking about games, and then I completely forgot about like the entire first half of we're talking about Stephen King and Tim Burton.
We keep switching it up.
It was not planned at all.
And you know what? We're bringing it full circle back to movies.
Back to movies. Yes. So this is going to be the last final full week of horror movies for our 31 days of horror. This is it. It's not the big shebang, but it's the last full week. So get them in. You know what I'm saying, Jacob?
We're getting them in.
Jacob, I need you to give me a movie. This week's theme, because if you haven't noticed, we've had a theme for most weeks. A little bit. Last week was the classics. I can't remember what the actual theme was for week 2.
It was just kind of like worth mentioning.
Yeah. Week 1 was family friendly, and this week it is all about what?
New horror.
So just
straight up, just like new scary movies probably just like 2010s and beyond.
Fresh out the kitchen,
Yeah. Yeah.
cooking all the dumplings.
I mean, yeah. R.
Yeah.
Kelly?
No, that was Frank.
That works too.
Oh, but I did say fresh out the kitchen.
Yeah, that's
well,
that's what.
And then I said cooking all the dumplings. So dang.
No relation. Anyways, to start it off, this is a good one. Actually, was made by YouTubers, and it was, I believe, the story was bought and made by a production company with them called Talk to Me.
Wait, this was made by
Really?
YouTubers?
Yeah, it was made by 2 YouTubers. I believe they were Australian.
No way.
Yeah, it's a really, really interesting, unique, scary movie. Definitely the weirdest concept for any scary movie I've ever seen, and it's definitely in my top 10.
Don't ruin it for me, Jacob.
It's no.
Don't ruin it.
That's all I'm gonna say.
And it was so odd. Like, so you bringing this movie up, we've talked about it before. And when you first asked me, like, have you seen this? No, I didn't. I hadn't even heard of the movie at that point in time. And I'm pretty sure it was the following day when I went to work. My boss came up to me.
Yeah.
He's like, have you seen the movie Talk to Me? And I was like, of course I haven't. But why would you and my brother ask me about this movie within a 24-hour time period?
Because we're NPCs.
Because it just came out in theaters recently, right?
Yeah. Yep.
But did you know, this is the only fact I have about the movie, was the movie came out a year ago.
Wow.
Did you know that?
I didn't. No, I must have made a return to theaters.
It wasn't.
Or maybe it was independently
in
released.
Theaters.
Yeah, okay.
It was, it was, as far as I know, it was like at film festivals,
Indie
the
film
movie was
fest.
shown.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
So a bunch of people had seen the movie.
It's really good.
But it never made it to theaters.
It is
until
really
a
good.
year later. Yeah. So I definitely want to watch Talk to Me. My boss actually asked me again today. He's like, have you watched Talk to Me yet? And he was like, I said no. And he's like, I'm done recommending movies. I'm done recommending books. He's like, I asked you if you read Holly. Guess what? No, of course I didn't read Holly. I said, but I bought the book. He said, yeah, but you gotta read the book.
Yeah, man. Just read the back like I do.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah.
And then do a 15-minute oral report.
There you Yes. But yeah, I'm excited to watch Talk to Me. Jacob, I mean,
it's really weird movie, man. You're in for a ride with it.
I'm excited. There's not a lot of new horror movies that are actually good, you know?
No, there aren't. There's just not many.
So I'm excited. I am excited. The next movie I want to talk about, because I watched this recently, which just came out, is the remake to, not remake, but the reboot.
The reboot
of Haunted Mansion.
Yeah, I gotta watch that.
I loved it. I loved it. It was so good. And Lakeith Stanfield is he is, if you've seen him in Atlanta,
or Sorry to Bother You,
or in Atlanta he played like a semi goofy character. You know, he wasn't a main character, but he was like that secondary guy, and he was funny. He did have an episode that was completely about him. And he's been in other comedies.
Interesting dude.
As a whole. And Lakeith in this movie was like legitimately funny, and it was great. And I'm not talking like in a goofy, crude way. It was just like, it was funny. And Owen Wilson's in the movie.
Wow.
We got Danny DeVito.
Oh, of course, dude. Of course you'd have Danny DeVito.
Jared Leto, which you never actually see Jared Leto's face once, but he's in the movie. The Haunted Mansion reboot was great. I loved it. And no knock on Eddie Murphy, because I also really like the first movie. It was great. Loved it.
I haven't seen that one in years.
Highly recommend, if you have Disney Plus, go watch Haunted Mansion. It was a lot of fun.
I
give me another one.
I got one that I thought of as we were doing the podcast now. World War Z.
I saw you put that on the list. All right.
World War Z, because other than the fact, Brad Pitt aside, great movie. It's one of the few movies you can watch with Brad Pitt in it and not be like, oh, Brad Pitt is surviving the zombie apocalypse.
Literally, you don't even like think about that. I mean, yeah, Brad Pitt's in it, but you're not thinking there like the entire time like that's Brad Pitt.
No, it's not Tomb Raider with Angelina Jolie, where Angelina Jolie is the Tomb Raider, or Brad Pitt in, I think it's like Troy.
Yeah.
Where that's just Brad Pitt.
It's Brad Pitt.
It's Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
But this is like, oh man, the zombies in that movie.
I remember seeing that in theaters.
The end of that movie.
Great.
That movie.
Oh yes, the end.
So good.
I forgot
the last like 30 minutes of that movie are just on the edge of your seat
the entire time. The entire time. The last full 30 minutes.
Just I can't take the suspense.
No. World War Z was a good one. That was so a good pick. I have the book. Never read it, but I haven't.
Well, I mean,
very nice, right? Yeah.
It'll be great to read when the apocalypse comes.
Yeah, that is awful, but yes. The next movie I want to mention, just because we've talked about your boy. He is the king of horror in the book.
Oh yeah.
World. It's got to be it.
It's got to be it. It is it. It is it.
It's got to be it. You get it?
Got it.
It. Good.
I've got it.
You got it?
I've got it.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. The movie It. All right, because they rebooted the I mean, it wasn't really a franchise, right? It was just they rebooted the movie.
Hey man, all I know is it's got a clown.
It's got a clown. And what the heck is his name?
Pennywise.
Not Penny, the guy who plays Pennywise.
Oh, Skarsgård. Which one of them though?
Why is my brain saying Ben?
I don't know. I know Gustav, who played Floki in Vikings. That's his brother.
There's so many. Did you know they're famous? Right?
Yeah.
Not famous. They're royalty in Sweden.
Yeah, the Skarsgårds.
Yeah, the Skarsgårds are like a big deal over in Sweden. But
shout out Floki from Viking.
Bill Skarsgård.
That's Skarsgård.
That's his name. Everything I've seen that guy in I've loved it. By the way, Bill Skarsgård did a fantastic job at being Pennywise. Have you ever seen the like audition tape that he did for Pennywise?
I don't think so. No.
Horrifying. The way he like shapes his face with, I mean, he's doing it without makeup. All right.
Yeah, he's got them Jim Carrey muscles, man.
The way he shapes his face is great. Have to talk about it. And a new one just came out recently, right? Relatively-ish. I might be wrong.
I don't know. I don't think so.
At least two new It movies.
Yeah, so, there's one where they're kids, and then there's one where they like revisit as adults.
Yeah, so it's just Stranger Things. It's all right.
It is. It's even got one of the kids from it.
It does, yeah. But yeah, no, definitely go watch it.
Go watch
especially in the first movie, towards the end, things they get wild.
Yeah.
Wild. So yeah, go watch it. Go watch it.
Go watch it, man. One that's worth mentioning because they just celebrated their 10th movie in the series. Saw. Yeah, you want to play a game? Saw.
That's a good pick. You saw the new one?
No.
Oh.
I just needed you to say that. I saw it 10 times, to be exact. Oh, man.
What's really bad is you said I saw it.
Ah, man, that's even worse.
You know what I'm saying? No. All right, these jokes are awful.
They're great.
They're great.
How else are we gonna, fill up the next 10 minutes to make this an hour 30?
Yeah, right. No. So we talked about whether or not we wanted to put the Saw series on this list because it's not really scary per se.
It's not
but
everyone's cup of tea.
It's definitely not even everybody's cup of tea. It's
gore.
It is gore.
It's just gore. It's unsettling, kind of stomach twisting. If you don't like watching people suffer, don't watch it. But
it's pure just shock value.
If you like feeling uncomfortable a little bit,
the Saw series
is what you probably want to watch.
You want to see somebody dig through some needles? Go watch Saw.
You don't really have to wait for anything spooky to happen in Saw. It's just constant terror.
You want to see somebody, remove their
whole arm?
back. No, they're glued back from a car seat. Shout out Chester Bennington. Rest in peace. That man did a great job in that movie. There are some just the creators behind the first Saw movie. Let me just say this: whoever came up with the first Saw movie, what happened in your life, dude? What happened? I've seen almost all the Saw movies at this point. Almost. I don't think I
have. I've seen like the first 3.
I've seen almost all of them, and I enjoy myself when watching them. But I mean, I know, but I can understand that they're movies, so it doesn't. It's movies. It's visual effects. Yeah. I know nothing's happening, so it doesn't weird me out.
Some people can't handle it, man.
Yeah, some people they're not able to separate it, which I can completely understand.
Oh yeah,
but I think that's exactly why I believe the Saw series is good for this list. Because it is able to instill this like reaction in your brain to tell you like there's no way I can watch this, and it's not real. It's not real, but it's so bad.
It's like, man, it just makes you think the entire time, what if that happened to me?
Which like somebody like that's the worst part.
The world is crazy, could actually do that. The world is crazy.
So I think it is I think it was a very, very, very good add to the list.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. Saw 10 just coming out. I'm gonna recommend it. I haven't seen it, but the Saw series is wild. If it is your cup of tea, or if you're able to withstand gore like that, go watch Saw because it is absolutely visceral. Yeah, that's wild. And then we've been talking once again about this movie. We've been talking about it.
Which is
The Conjuring.
Oh yeah. The Conjuring, man.
So there's multiple movies from The Conjuring. The Nun had to have came out within the past 5 to 8 years. So
yeah, The Nun was it was like a story attached to The Conjuring.
Yeah, and I remember watching The Nun. I did that movie. I actually did enjoy. I was a fan. I liked it. The second one
just came out.
What do you mean?
The second Nun movie just came out not too long ago.
That's why my brain was fixed on that. I was like, I knew The Nun came out relatively recently.
Yeah.
But yeah, they have the second one that just came out.
And that plays off of the first one, and it's also pretty good.
So have you seen that?
Yeah. Yep, not long ago.
You just keep seeing these movies.
I stay on top of it.
I guess.
Also, little fun fact, the girl who plays the main character in The Nun is the sister of the woman who plays Lorraine in The Conjuring.
You're a liar.
I'm not, man. Look it up. Look it up. Look it up.
All right, they're just like, all right, let's just keep reusing the assets. It's fine.
Yeah. I know someone who could play that role perfectly.
Yeah.
The guy from The Conjuring is like, myself.
He's
and
like,
the girl
myself.
from The Conjuring is like, my sister.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah. So, go check out. I mean, just The Conjuring as a whole. The Conjuring is cool. The series, the whole series of
Everybody
movies.
knows The Conjuring at this point.
Yeah.
Everybody. Annabelle too. Annabelle's another extension of that.
Yeah. So you have what? The Conjuring. You have The Conjuring 2.
Annabelle.
You have Annabelle.
The Nun.
Is there
and the Nun 2. I don't know if there's an Annabelle 2 or not. I don't think so.
Yeah, it might just be the 5.
Because it just gave the backstory of the doll from The Conjuring.
Yeah. So I mean that definitely.
Shout out Ed and Lorraine Warren.
If you wanna.
I mean,
hacks. I mean. Yeah, no.
It is what it is.
You know what I'm saying?
It is what it is.
No, definitely go. I mean, across the board, scary movies. Go watch the Conjuring series. All of them. They're all really good. I've seen the Conjuring 1, the Conjuring 2, Annabelle, and then the first Nun movie. I just haven't seen the new Nun movie.
It's pretty good. There's points where it's like, ooh, that's creepy, but it's not like constant creepy.
Ooh. Yeah. Yep.
It's in a monastery and whatnot. It's all about that religious stuff.
It's still horrifying.
It is. The end was
Demons and
very
stuff?
anticlimactic, though.
Oh, yikes. Hey, go watch it. Do you want to do another one, or do you want me to do one more before? Because I believe I know the way we're gonna end this. Okay.
All right.
I think I know the way we're gonna end this.
I mean, I don't know. Let's see what you got.
All right. So, because we're talking about The Conjuring, I have to talk about it again. Insidious.
Oh yeah.
There was a new Insidious movie that just came out recently. Which, Jacob, have you seen it?
I have.
Oh, and how was it?
One movie's good. 2 movies is okay. 3 movies is just too many. And the Red Door sure kept true to that one.
All right, so, if you're a fan of the Insidious series, go watch it. For sure. Definitely. I'm going to say go watch it. And if you just want to be scared, go watch it.
This new one was a good chapter closer for the Insidious. I don't think they'll make another one.
You think that's it? They're calling
it
quits?
mean, if they make another one, it's probably going to be really bad.
Yeah.
So they should probably just lock it up now.
He goes, tap out what you can.
Yeah, man.
Just call it a day.
Gotta happen.
Yeah, so, Insidious, it's... We have talked about Insidious and The Conjuring so much at this point.
Yeah, like 3 episodes worth we've mentioned it now.
Yeah, for real.
It's been one long build up.
Hey, new horror movies, I was a fan. The first Insidious movie is good.
It is. It is.
It is good. It absolutely is good. The first Conjuring movie is good.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. I do believe The Conjuring kind of held their own through the series a bit better than Insidious did.
Oh, 100%.
But if you like scary movies, I mean, yeah, there's zero reason not to go watch the other Insidious movies. Just the way we've talked about it. It's one long story,
so it is worth checking all of them out if you're going to check them out at all.
Yeah. You might as well sit down, grab some popcorn, watch a movie. You know what I'm saying? Well, not a movie, a series of movies. Yeah. But that for me, that is the I am tapping out of this list at this point because I need you to wrap up this list with this movie, Jacob.
All right. This is an important one. We all know Five Nights at Freddy's. But nobody knows Willy's Wonderland,
Yes, indeed.
starring
dude.
Nicolas Cage. This is a top tier spooky movie. I don't think I've ever laughed harder than watching Nicolas Cage slam a can of punch and go fight animatronics.
You're a liar.
I'm dead serious. Oh man. If you got an hour and a half and you've seen National Treasure, you just gotta see Willy's Wonderland to understand, man. I'm so
Yes,
passionate about
indeed.
Willy's Wonderland.
I
I think
need to
it
watch
deserves a
it.
second one. Its budget was $5 million. I don't even think they made 500,000 back on it.
You're lying.
Oh, so good though.
And what's really bad, all right, is so Willy's Wonderland came out before they even announced that they were making an actual like official Five Nights at Freddy's movie.
Oh yeah. It came out like right when COVID started.
Yeah. So
Oh man, it was so good. Oh,
So to anybody that has played the Five Nights at Freddy's games or has watched it, Willy's Wonderland basically was, I don't want to use the phrase rip off because it sounds really rude and
brother.
it's a rip off.
Yeah. It is. But it's a good one.
It is literally Five Nights at Freddy's. From what I've seen, I haven't seen the movie, but like the trailers and stuff I've seen, it's Five Nights at Freddy's.
Please
like
just at least
just
watch
but
it
with Nicolas
until he
Cage.
gets to the can of punch. And when he goes back to the can of punch, not a second, not a third, not a fourth, not a fifth, but a sixth time, then you can turn it off.
What did you just say?
He goes back to the cans of punch.
No.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know how many times. He does a can of punch every time he goes to fight the animatronics. He's there for like a week, and he's just got a fridge full of punch. And it's like a fist and a purple can. Just says punch. Oh, man.
It just says punch.
I want it. I would just want one of those cans.
It's like the way you're describing this is like the perfect way my brain would work if somebody were to make a live action Dead Rising game. Dead Rising movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got that kind of vibe for sure.
But Five Nights at Freddy's.
But Five Nights at Willy's Wonderland.
Chuck E. Cheese.
Chuck E. Cheese, yeah.
It's fine. It's fine. You know.
Oh man.
Yeah.
We gotta end it here. It's time.
We got it. That.
It's time. We're an hour and 30 deep.
This is the longest. It's the longest episode that you and I have just talked.
Well,
for sure. I mean, it is.
It's only going up from here.
It's only. I mean,
I'm a
if
passionate
you say
guy.
No. But of course, I believe. Well, this, like I said, that wraps up the last full week of our first annual 31 Days of Horror. I say annual. It might be a little rough going down, a couple of years because
there's only so many movies.
There's only so many horror movies. So we'll try to keep it fresh around here. You know what I'm saying? But
you never know.
Give us
it might
a year.
just be like clips next year,
You
New
never
movies
know.
we're watching.
Listen, next year could be wild. That's all
we
I'm saying.
We could have cameras next year. We could do like pumpkin carving.
Hey, sir. Don't be giving them no ideas.
That's true. I'm lazy. Don't do that. That's right.
He said, "Don't do that." But yeah, so that wraps it up. I will say this: we already talked about it. That prepare your butts for next week because we got some stuff.
Oh yeah!
Next week we got some stuff, and I have a game plan in my back pocket. I'm going to be out of town, actually, the 18th through the 25th, going to visit Salem. So I'm going to try to see what I can get done. And if I can do it, trust me when I say the last episode of October is going to be a good one.
A good one.
It's going to be
witchcraft, potions and brews.
If you say so. No.
Coming back
So-
from Salem with that ergot, just
Yeah,
tripping.
yeah.
Guys, they weren't
Yeah.
lying.
So
There are
yeah.
witches.
There are witches.
Bigfoot's real, and he was in my house.
Yeah, but I'm gonna see what I can get done. I really hope next week's episode we're able to pull off what I have planned in my head. So, that wraps it up for this week. I think that's it.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Like I said earlier, if you want to check out the science, what was the
Science of Scare?
Science of Scare, that's what it is. If you want to check out the Science of Scare, like I said, I'm gonna post it. I'm gonna pin it over on X, which across all social media platforms, it is at 2 DOF separation. That's everywhere. Facebook,
everywhere.
Instagram, Threads, TikTok, X, everywhere. So go check out that if you want to get the full list of the movies and kind of the science behind the actual list. You know, it's pretty cool. So that wraps it up. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this episode. Like we said, it was the longest time that we've actually just sat down and talked. Just him and I.
It's a long one.
This is a bit longer. And actually, I would really enjoy, because I've heard from multiple people that they would like some longer episodes. I'm not saying every single episode is going to be this long, because life is crazy, you know? So,
yeah. It sure is, man.
It's
sure
not that
is.
easy. But if you do enjoy the longer format, please let us know anywhere and everywhere. And you can, we've said it before, you can shoot us voice messages here on Spotify. I don't know if it's able to do it anywhere else.
I don't
being
think
completely
so.
honest.
I think it's just
So-
a Spotify thing.
Yeah, you can leave us a message just letting us know if you enjoy the format or not. But I believe that wraps it up. I like I said last week, I believe from both of us, we really appreciate everybody that comes through listening to the podcast, that actually interacts and says that they're having fun listening to this. It's actually kind of wild.
Heck yeah, man. Thanks for lending an ear.
Yeah. Thanks for
picking up the other end of my tin can.
That, yes. And on that note, I think that's it, Jacob.
That's it?
I gotta go pack.
I got so much to talk about.
It is. Stop.
I've got mods to talk about.
Listen, we're almost through October. We gotta make it one more week, man.
I've got mods. I have so much to tell you. Shout out Happy Wheels.
So much to tell you.
Shout out Happy Wheels.
Yes, indeed. All right. I'm wrapping it up there. Thank you guys. I will definitely see you next week.
Goodbye.